I supposed to feel right now? There's a roller coaster of emotions, bro. And I freaking knew it because there's always sadness after happiness. The only thing that bothers me a lot is knowing that Seungho's about to go psycho. Before we get started, I just want to remind our viewers that if you like seeing more yaoi content and would like to support this channel, please don't forget to smash that like button. Also, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Feel free to message me in my social media at ZEALED FUJOSHI, which I'll be using to interact with viewers about more yaoi content. If that's something that interests you, feel free to follow me at ZEALED FUJOSHI. Finally, this episode will contain explicit content and a lot of manhwa spoilers. With that in mind, please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Now, without further ado, let's jump into chapter 97 of Painter of the Night. I am so nervous right now. I'm scared of what will happen in the next chapter 98. And I am so sad of what's happening in this chapter because, come on, like, Seungho just confessed in this chapter and my god. Hannah has the gall to say that she found a nobleman who can help them. And I'm guessing it's the same nobleman that we saw in the previous chapter that pulled Hannah while Seungho and Nakyum were getting hot and heavy. And this mysterious nobleman said, "I was looking for you." And I can't help but feel like from the age of this nobleman, there's a high probability that this mysterious nobleman could really be Min. But there are other possibilities, which we will discuss in the later part of this chapter. But let's discuss the elephant in the room right now. I'm guessing that a lot of you guys are still thinking, are finally convinced that Inhun is finally dead. And yeah, it's sad that Nakyum is gonna be sad and traumatized, but correct me, but I can't help but still doubt the whole Inhun death. Because I know that this teacher is very sly and very cunning, and I'll only believe that that body really is Inhun if it would be Nakyum or Seungho who confirms that body. And lucky for us, the body was left in the front of the Yoon household. So I really wish that somebody who's really credible would check what's underneath that blanket, because there's a couple of loopholes that I just feel like can still be exploited in this story. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't know, like I this is some weird info that is somehow stuck in my head, but since Inhun's body was found in a water well, and of course we don't know how many hours he's been in that well or how many days he was in that well, but let's say that he was there for a couple of hours and maybe his body absorbed a lot of water. Because remember, the people from the Yoon household in this chapter 97 said that the body is breaking apart, and that's why no one wants to move the body from the front of the house, and they just left that dead body in the front of the Yoon household, right? So why would this body be breaking apart? Is it because it's been dead for a couple of days? Yes, that's a possibility. Or is it also because the body has absorbed so much water since it was left in the well for God knows how many hours or days, that it's hard to um it's decaying. But then again, how did they take out the body out of the well if it was slowly decaying? It's kind of hard to figure out like how they determined that this really is Inhun. It looks like the body is still intact, but I don't know, like I still have so many doubts about this death because like I can't help but feel that the death of one of the servants in the Yoon household in the previous season, where No Name killed one of the servants that was bullying Nakyum, and we never saw what happened to that man's body. And if we are dealing with the same people or the same Min gang here, I wouldn't be surprised if this body could be that servant. But then again, where the hell is Inhun right now? And what the hell is Inhun doing if he really is alive? Does that mean he's in cahoots with Min and Jiwa and None? We don't know that. But that's one possibility in this puzzle, right? And also, one contradiction to the theory if Inhun is alive. So let's say that Inhun is alive, right? Does that mean that the person that hasn't been showing his face is Inhun? But if that person is Inhun, why would he show himself in front of Hannah? Because Hannah knows who he is. And if that is the case, then that tells another question of why would Hannah lie to Nakyum about Inhun's death if Inhun was alive? So that really brings the fact that maybe this mysterious man really isn't Inhun, but it could be Min, right? But we still don't know until this person really is revealed somewhere in this chapter. But I highly doubt that if it's Inhun, if the mysterious man in the yellow-green hanbok is Inhun, I doubt that he would be calling Hannah outside the room. And even if they are plotting to separate Nakyum from Seungho just to add more drama to this whole thing, it still doesn't make sense to me why Hannah would agree to that plan. So, but it would make sense if it is Min, because Hannah did say it's a nobleman, and I don't think Hannah would refer to Inhun as a nobleman, because I think he would still be referred to as a learned teacher. So that's one possibility. But regardless of all of my questions, I am a firm believer that Seungho didn't kill anyone in this series. If there is anyone killing anybody in this series, I would think it would be Min who would have killed Inhun, probably for revenge, trying to separate Nakyum and Seungho. I just can't put my head around it. Like, Trouble just can't wait for Nakyum and Seungho to just be happy, even for just a day, before all of these shit show just strikes them. Like, come on, like, find out if it's I know that whatever is happening to Nakyum and Seungho right now, it has to be one of the people that's really close to Seungho that did it. And I feel like they're trying to set him up so that either probably for revenge or if it really is Min just really wants to taste Nakyum, right? But I also wouldn't take Daddy Yoon out of the picture yet, since we know that he wants Nakyum to stay away from Seungho. And we know that this allegation is kind of severe, but we also know that Daddy Yoon has done more horrible things to Seungho before. And if putting his son to jail might be the only way, because Seungho is very psychotic, I really wouldn't be surprised if all this weird plot thing is also because of Daddy Yoon, because Daddy Yoon was also aware of Seungho helping Inhun before, so he is also not out of this whole murder mystery of that's going on. I am very sad because, you know, Seungho will be very hurt once he finds out that Nakyum is suspecting him of this whole murder mystery. It's such a tragedy, especially knowing how far these two have gone. And I just realized something, by the way. Now it kind of makes sense why Seungho was staring at the well back in chapter 94. Now that we know the more details from chapter 97, that Hena disclosed in chapter 97 that she wrote to Nakyum about Inhun's death. And since we know that Seungho intercepted those letters so that Nakyum would not read any of this letter and find out that Inhun is dead, because Seungho is afraid that Nakyum might leave him if Nakyum finds out that Inhun is dead. You know, we find out the contents of this letter. They are quite gruesome. It looks like Hena detailed what she saw in Inhun's house, all the blood in the floor and her discovery of his body in the well. So Seungho was staring at the water well in chapter 94, knowing that Inhun's body was found in such a place. But I still don't think that Seungho killed Inhun. He was just looking at that well because he read it in those letters that Hena found Inhun's body inside a water well. And I think Seungho staring at the water well is just Seungho thinking of who might have an agenda to kill Inhun, or what could be their agenda to kill Inhun. Why did they kill Inhun? Because don't forget, guys, Seungho is a pretty smart guy, and even though he's not serving his post right now, he could have passed to be a high-ranking politician. He just chose not to, but he's a pretty smart guy. And so he is probably suspicious that of what's going on around him and Nakyum. And even though this weird behavior started quite a while ago, even before his relationship with Nakyum existed, prior to chapter 94, we will see Seungho go off the rails to Nakyum, giving off this weird foreshadowing that Nakyum should not leave his side, or Nakyum should not go outside, or Nakyum should only believe in him, because Seungho knows something bad is going bad out there. We don't know who Seungho is suspecting, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the guys that we have discussed pretty well in this channel. Number one, of course, in our list is Min, who is obviously and has been very vocal that he is plotting something to separate Nakyum and Seungho. Number two would be Jiwa, who has been quiet for quite a while now. It's quite suspicious how quiet Jiwa has been, but we know that Jiwa has partnered up with Min. And then the third one is also No Name, who is part of the Min gang, but he doesn't want to be part of this gang. He's more like being forced to be part of this gang because Min wants him to cooperate. There's also Daddy Yoon, Seungho's dad, who wants Seungho to behave and doesn't want or doesn't like the relationship that Seungho has with Na-kyum right now. There is also the mysterious Lord Song, who we have never seen throughout 97 chapters of Painter of the Night. We've only heard delightfully horrible things about him, and we cannot take him off of this list because we still have that mysterious man in the yellow and green handbook, which could be Lord Sung. So we will find out if it really is Lord Sung or Min behind that handbook. There are also pawns in this series. Hena is one of those pawns who's being influenced by the mysterious nobleman in the yellow and green handbook. There's also Sung-won, who is Seungho's younger brother. He was just trying to bridge a communication between Seungho and Daddy Yoon, their father. But we still don't know what he's been doing since the previous chapter or where his alliances lie. But since he got a couple of screen time in the previous season, I wouldn't be surprised if he has some role to play in this current season. There's also the manservant Mr. Kim, who plays for all sides in this series. We don't really also know where his loyalty lies. As of right now, he kinda is going off with the vibe that he is a big Nakyum and Seungho shipper. But remember that he is a manservant and he has to obey noble rules. So if any of the noblemen in this list were ever to order him around, I think he would listen. With all of the people in their enemy list, no wonder Seungho didn't want Nakyum to go outside, because some of these people will not hesitate to kill Nakyum. Or, you know, worse. I don't know if there's anything worse than getting killed, but, you know, they could torture the guy before, you know, doing something worse to the guy. But thinking of all of these theories, it reminds me of what Seungho said, "Trust me no matter what you hear." And remembering this one line makes me believe more that Seungho really didn't kill anybody. And it really is obvious that Seungho is being manipulated, or he's being framed by someone to take the blame for for the killing of that allegedly Inhun. I am just really sad for Nakyum also. I'm sure that it hurts him because the one that he loves allegedly killed someone very special to him. He still doesn't know all of the hidden agenda that Inhun has done behind his back, but regardless, Inhun is still special in Nakyum's heart, even if Nakyum is in love with Seungho now. So it's just hard for Nakyum. It's so sad to see what he has to go through. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to follow my social media to be teased about some of the boys' love that I'm interested in. Feel free to leave me a message and converse with me in my Discord channel. I'd love to hear back from you. And please consider supporting the show by donating as little as 99 cents through www.zealedfujoshi.xyz. Also, don't forget to support the author. All the manhwa details can be found in the description below. Again, thank you so much and hope to see you next time.